joke, so we laugh together. We share, we cuss, but we learn together. We hurt, we fuss, but let's hurt together. I leave, you leave, so we live together, through everything, even the smaller things, even the harder things. We stay together, yeah. Through everything, even the bigger things, nothing's impossible if we stay together, yeah. Through everything, even the smaller things, even the harder things, we stay together, yeah. Through everything, even the bigger things, nothing's impossible if we stay together, yeah.
All right. Welcome to another episode of Can You Connect? And of course, this is Mr. Walk That Walk. And today's episode is going to be a follow-up on the previous episode, which is delusional disorders. And of course, we're going to be connecting this with people who are dating someone that has a delusional disorder. I was not able to find any information about people dating someone with it. So I'm just gonna go on the top of my dome. I'm gonna go over the types of delusions, and I'm gonna go over, let's say, I want to give an example on maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 of how the certain types of delusions can affect somebody if they're dating someone with it or married to somebody with them. So the first one we're going to start off with is persecutory delusion, which is the belief that one is going to be harmed, harassed, and so forth by an individual, organization, or group. And it also goes into a belief that he or she is being conspired against. So let's say you're in a workspace, or it needs to be in regard to dating and marriage. Let's say you're in a family gathering and your spouse maybe goes off and talks to, let's say, their parents, or maybe their friends are over and you're not there, and you're there, but you see them go off and talk to them, and then they come back, and then maybe you'll get that feeling like, oh man, maybe they're plotting on me, or they're trying to find a way to get me. So that may be part of a delusion. But this one has more parts to it. So not only is this one involved with feeling conspired against, it has one where at times maybe they feel like they've been cheated. So let's say it may be something like small, like it may be like there's a fun family game, and they end up losing, and then they feel like, oh man, you cheated me, like, and they're like, we're like, nah, I didn't cheat you. He's like, no, like they wholeheartedly believe that. They was like, without any evidence, they believe like, no, you cheated, and I was like, but I did it. So then y'all go back and forth about that. So that's another part of this one. This one has so many. Another one is they may feel as though they're being followed. So let's say they either may feel like their spouse or their spouse's family member is following them around. which can, potentially cause a conflict. Be like, yo, I think blah 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 is following me, and it was like, no, they're not. I was just with them. So you see how that could bring up a different type of conflict. Another one is being, at times they may feel like they're being poisoned or drugged. So this could go to their spouse. So let's say you made something different for your spouse today and it made them drowsy. Let's say it made them drowsy, or no, this is a better one. They went straight to the bathroom. So let's say you made a smoothie for them and then they ran to the bathroom. They was like, and then they'll come back and be like, yo, what did you give me? And I was like, oh, it's just fruits and vegetables. Maybe this it's like a fruit smoothie. So sometimes different things in a fruit smoothie make you go use a bathroom. You're like, no, you put something in there to make me do that. You put a laxative in there to make me go. And they was like, no, I did it. And then they'll go back and forth between that. So there's so many which could be interesting, but because they have these delusions, they could bring up multiple conflicts, multiple arguments. So these are things to keep in mind with someone who has this type of delusion. They may also feel like they're being harassed, so that could go back to being followed as well. They may also feel like they're being obstructed in the pursuit of their goals. So this will go back to the partner. They may feel like their partner is treating them so well that is making them not be successful. So that's how extreme some of the delusions can go. I'm just coming up with hypotheticals. I don't know for a fact, but these are hypothetical, like hypothetically speaking. These are some things that can happen. If you're dealing with somebody who has a delusion disorder, and the type of delusion is persecutory, that type. So that's what I had. That's most of the ones I had for that one. So maybe there was mostly I gave one because that one just has so many in that one. But I might have more with the other ones. We'll see. The next one is going to be referential delusion, is the belief that certain gestures, comments, or environmental cues and so forth are directed at oneself. So this could point towards, let's say you're with your spouse or something, and y'all are out, y'all are having fun, but they're always saying, man, I think this person looking at me. And it was like, you sure? And they were like, no, I don't think they're looking at you. Like, no, they just waved at me. I'm like, I think they waved at that person. I don't think they waved at you. No, they definitely waved at me. I'm like, I don't think so. So y'all go back and forth and be like well, about something, about other people making gestures, other people doing certain things. And they wholeheartedly believe that those gestures are to them. So that's the main one I have for that one. That's the main example I have for that one. Another one is grandiose delusion, when an individual believes that he or she is great at certain abilities, wealth, or fame. And yeah, so they may. Okay, so this person may believe that, let's say, they're in a relationship, and let's say maybe they're well known around their town, only because they went to school together. But that's the reality of why this person actually knows these people. But in their mind, they're like, no, it's because I'm famous, or I was so good at this sport, everybody just loves me, and that's why they always talk to me. Like they they turn it into something else. That's what they're going back and forth with their spouse about. Like, the spouse is like, well, why are these people always doing this? They're like, no, because I'm just so great at these things. I'm just so amazing that, they just can't help but to talk to me. And like, well, how do they know that you're good at these things? It's like, oh, they saw me. Like, when did they see me? And they may not have an explanation of when they seen them do, let's say, this particular sport or discovered this type of new invention or this type of wealth or like whatever their claim to fame is. Nobody really sees it. They just know this person because they know them from school. That's a reality, but they may be telling people other things. Another one is eromatic delusion. When an individual believes falsely that another person is in love with him or her. Okay, so this one I feel like I could be a bit dangerous because they're putting their selves at risk of being hurt by somebody and the other person don't even know that, that you're attracted to them or anything. So it could be anybody. It could be somebody famous. It could be somebody that's in their school or somebody at work. And they're like, oh, we're in a relationship. And then the other person's like, no, we're not in a relationship. So this could be like part of not in a relationship or marriage. This could be just somebody in the dating stage. But they have these issues because in the delusion, they're already in a relationship with this person, but they're not. So you can see how that will cause issues, let's say, in a work environment. If they're working with that person, that will cause work issues. So, they may lose their job or they may have the other person lose their job because all this conflict about them being in a relationship, even though they weren't in a relationship. Or it could be in school when that happens. Or it could be when somebody's famous, so now they're stalking this person because they're like, no, we're in a relationship. And imagine, let's say they wholeheartedly believe it, and they be like, and they get their heart broken because the other person's like, well, I don't know you, and we were never in a relationship. So let's say they go to the extreme, of like, oh, they broke up with me, which they didn't break up with you. You was never in a relationship, but they go to the extreme, and then they end up attacking that person, or they end up like really taking out all their anger out them out of revenge because of that delusion. So that's a pretty serious one, because that goes into stalking, that goes into maybe killing or murdering somebody. So that one is definitely to be aware about that. Okay, be like, this person's acting this way towards me, and they may have this type of delusion. So it may be a mental health thing. Maybe this person's not trying to maliciously put me in a situation. This person's just having a mental health thing going on to where it's affecting them. So that we have a better understanding of why people are doing certain things. And then we could get the right people to help them when we know things. The next one is going to be nihilistic delusion. This is someone having the conviction. This one is somebody believing that there's going to be a major catastrophe happening. So let's say that they believe there's going to be a big hurricane or a big earthquake, or they just know something bad is going to happen. So if you're in a relationship with somebody like that, it's not that bad. To be honest, it's not a bad delusion. That's not one of the worst ones to be in a relationship with if somebody just has that one. It was like, oh, you're just like, oh, you think that's going to happen? Yeah, I think this is going to happen. And then, because a hurricane is going to happen at some point. You're like, you see, yeah, you're right, it did happen. It didn't happen when you said it was going to happen, but it did happen. This is true. So that was not that bad compared to the other types of delusions. This delusion is not as harmful. And for the most part, it might be beneficial because this type of person, let's say they're going to be in active preparation for something bad to happen. So they may have like get a bunch of canned goods. This is that person. This is that person who's overly prepared for something bad to happen because they have the delusion of a big catastrophe about to be happening soon. Even though, things happen at random times. And let's say another one is the semantic delusion, which focuses on the preoccupation with somebody's health or organs. So this is going to be the person. This is going to be the person that maybe annoys you in a relationship because they're running back and forth to the doctor's office or hospital. Be like, oh man, like every time they feel something, they gotta go. It was like I gotta go. So you gotta take the kids somewhere. They're like, no, you gotta take the kids because I gotta go to the doctor. I'm like, no, you don't gotta go. It's the doctor. You're not sick. I gotta go to the doctor. You just gotta let them go. For real, you just let them talk. You let them talk the doctor's heads off. So you don't gotta argue with them. See, keeps the peace. Just let them go, even though they're going to put you. They're going to inconvenience you at times. We'll say that. It's like, it's not the worst type of delusion, but it's a delusion that might be a bit annoying to deal with at times, if that's what your partner is doing. Another one is that could be pretty detrimental or problematic is the jealousy type. So this one believes wholeheartedly that their spouse is being unfaithful. So of course, this one is a big problem because when we believe somebody is cheating or when we believe somebody, is being unfaithful, they're either always asking you, which is annoying, or they believe you're actually doing it. And now they're either going to kick you out the house or they're going to take out their anger towards you. So this one is definitely something to be careful about. This is another type of delusion that you want to be careful about, like the type of person, because as we said before, we don't know what people do. We don't know what people are capable of doing when they feel hurt or when they feel damaged by somebody, even though it didn't even happen. This is what they feel in their mind. So something to be careful of. Okay. But these are other things as part of delusions. Remember, those are the different types. We went over those. And then the other types, remember we talked about the bizarre delusions, the non-bizarre delusions. So these get into, we're going to start with maybe the bizarre ones, which are, let's say that this one talks about the person having a bizarre delusion is maybe a person having their organs removed. So I'm trying to see how this would look like if you was in a relationship with somebody like that, like who believed something like extreme was happening. I guess this one would go into, because if it's just about their organs being taken out, I could see how they may be erratic and they may cause their partner to be always stressed out because they're being, if you believe like your organs taken out, I'm sure they're going to be like, their emotions are going to be sky high. They're going to be highly stressed, and then all that stress goes on to the partner. So I'm sure the partner is going to be very stressed out about trying to assure that person that they're fine, and you may have to do that often. So that could be heavy on you if you're trying to help somebody with that who has a bizarre delusion. Now, the non-bizarre delusions, they might be a bit easier to deal with, like somebody who has, they may just believe that the police is watching them, and then, that's an easy bizarre to sometimes deal with because, you can look out the window and be like, okay, do you see any police cars? Do you see any unmarked cars? They'd be like, well, no, but I still feel it. And I was like, you may still feel it, but, we don't really see anything. So that one, even though you maybe not be able to convince them, at least you could be like, show them. You kind of show them that they have their organs, like, you kind of potentially show them that for the bizarre one that they do have their organs because, there's no marks. But I guess if they do have a mark on their stomach, then it's like, it may make it a bit harder for you, so. But again, this is if you're dealing with somebody who has that. Could be potentially stressful. Depending on how often they're doing it. Depending on the frequency. If it's just like once a week they're doing it, okay. But if it's like an everyday thing and it lasts for like hours, that takes up not only a lot of your time with work, or school if you're going to school, or taking care of the kids, because you have to take your time out to reassure your partner that things are fine. Another one is delusions that express loss of control over their mind or body. So it could be such as, let's say, belief that one's thoughts have been removed by some outside force. So if somebody's having their thoughts removed, how would you imagine that with dating somebody? So let's say you're trying to solve a problem or you're trying to get something done, and your partner is saying, oh, something took my thoughts away, or like, what do you mean something took your thoughts away? Like, I don't see that one be too bad. Like, they just may be like, my thoughts are just, something just took them away. Like, I was looking at this animal and they were staring at me, and then my thoughts just disappeared. It's like, what? So, I don't know. So maybe you may not be able to, it may be hard to problem solve with that person. It may be hard for y'all to plan out things or execute certain things because they feel like maybe when they look at animals, their thoughts just disappear. Another one is, and that's called thought withdrawal. And the other one is, let's say that aliens have put thoughts in your mind, which is called thought insertion. So this one may be a bit, this is the one where they would wear the tinfoil hats. I don't know why they do that, but we do know why they do that, because that's to protect their mind from the aliens taking their thoughts, or trying to input their thoughts into them. There we go. They're trying to stop the aliens inputting their thoughts into them. Yes. Okay, we got it. So, how would that harm? So how would that be part of a relationship? Relationship wise, it could be, they may not be able to be as productive. Because they could say another human is trying to put, they may say another human is an alien and they're trying to put their thoughts in their mind. So they be like, no, I just got to stay home because we don't know who's an alien and who's not. So this person you may have to take care of because they're not mentally stable to go out and be independent. So, yeah. That's mainly what you got to do with this person. I think the last one is going to be that one's body or actions are being acted on or manipulated by some outside force. So, which is called delusions of control. So I would say that this one is a pretty harming one due to you're feeling as though somebody is trying to control you. So, we're not sure, we're not 100% positive that this person is going to harm you or not. So in this particular situation, there is some danger or risk with this type of delusion due to you don't really know for a fact that you're safe with this person because the thoughts could be telling them to do anything to you or to themselves. They could be the delusion could be telling them to harm themselves, or delusion could be telling them to harm their family or their loved ones. So this is another one to be careful of. Like this person would probably have to be watched a lot due to that. So this is another one that probably, probably be very stressed out, and that's a lot to handle. That's a lot to be able to, you got to be on your guard all the time. So some delusions, these are important to understand because you want to know, is it safe? Like, does this person have safe delusions that are harming you, or does this person have the type of delusions that, that are not that extreme? So just to make sure that you're safe and your kids are safe or your family's safe. So these are certain things to keep in mind, because you never know. Never know when somebody could have a mental break to where how that would affect them. And there's so many types of delusions that you don't know which one they're going to have until they start having them. So these are just ones to be aware of and ones to keep in mind about. So that will conclude this episode. Definitely on the next episode, we're going to be going over another disorder, mental health disorder. And of course, we're going to be supporting Black-owned businesses. There's somebody I ran into at a smaller convention, and she was making costumes for people who are furry. So who like put on like a furry costume and go to the anime convention. She had some like she was making them, and I was like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. So definitely support her, and she also does art as well. So I'll put all her information in the description below, and of course for my artist and a person who does the music, their info will be in the description below. And for myself, I'm a clinical social worker for the state of Maryland. I could do individual, family, and couples therapy. So, if you're interested, definitely check it out in the description and, check out send me an email. So this will definitely conclude this episode for today. Y'all definitely have a good rest of the day and a good rest of the week.
Our lives are filled with drama. Our homes, they feel empty. Our dreams slowly shattered, and our bodies are bruised and battered. What does it take to become a legend? What can we do to teach a lesson? Is there a way for a future commitment? Oh, why do we wait to repaint the world? When the world loses color, it's our goal to paint them back. Yeah, yeah. When the world loses color, it's our goal to paint them back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Our emotions have no home. Our feelings have no home. Our Can't see the beauty in them. Our men are not standing strong. What does it take to become a legend?